Hey everybody, Richard Maxwell here from the Arcadia High School Creative Musical Arts and Sciences program, part of the Arcadia Music program. We are here today. This is our second episode of our podcast in this new format. We're pretty excited about it. We're already starting to expand things out, as you'll see today. At the end of this episode, we've got a brand new live music video. Gabriel Hernandez and John Falls, we captured them performing live on our soundstage yesterday. I'm pretty excited to be able to share that with you. That also will wind up as a part of our EP this week, and they're also going to be playing on, I believe, one, if not both of our shows that happened today. I'm recording this on Friday morning, and then we've got two shows, one at lunch and one this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So just wanted to welcome you again to this episode, and thank you for supporting the program and these students, and we hope you enjoy it.
Okay, thank you guys for being here. We've been recording some different segments over today, and I can't help but keep coming back to the fact that I know objectively it's the second week of school, but I feel like it's warped into the first. Like I was saying to the last group, I was like, I know we had a weekend. I know I did stuff on the weekend. I know I was not here on the weekend. But it feels somehow like it's all just sort of smushed together. I don't know. Maybe that's just me and my old man brain. But
I was here mentally on the weekend.
yeah, that's okay. That's good. Well, you're doing football, right?
Yeah, but there's no football on the weekekend.
There isn't? You guys haven't started scrimmages and stuff like that?
We have a scrimmage Thursday.
Is that the first one?
There's only one scrimmage.
I thought there was two. Is there?
Well, we scrimmage, we play each other in team.
Yeah, but not
in practice.
Who's this one against?
Apollo.
Yeah?
I think they're like a 6A school. I don't really know much about them.
That's okay. You excited?
I'm actually not going to play because I had a concussion last week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Wait, are we live?
Oh, we're
not live.
Well, we're not live.
I was like, wait, why are we talking about this? Yeah, I'm on my recovery right now, so...
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, Cal, I mean, look, first of all, you've done other segments already, so we've kind of done an intro to you. But I actually think, genuinely, first of all, you know that, I have a great affinity for you. You came in last year, and you're like, I play the piano, get out of my way, I'm playing the piano. And you've expanded considerably your musical skills, and more importantly, your skills are amazing, but your musical instincts in particular, I am really a big fan of.
Thank you.
But I just think it's cool that, we've got somebody who's so active in CMAS on the varsity football team, which that shouldn't be a thing. I don't mean like it shouldn't be a thing. Like no one should. That shouldn't be a big deal. That shouldn't be something that people would be like, whoa, wow, oh my gosh, a football player's in the program.
Yeah,
and yet we live in a world where that is a thing.
He's just built different.
I'm built different.
Well, that's actually a very fair point.
Physically built different.
That goes without saying. No, but like I'm wondering, and this might be something to do several segments on. I don't know. I want to get Coach Brown in here.
Yeah, we should.
Is there a connection in any way to what's going on the football field to how you approach what you do musically?
Because
I'm wondering, like things like to me, like things that stick out, like the collaborative element of it.
Not really, because like
not even that.
No, because like you're not really creating anything. You're like on the football field, you're just reacting. Like if someone throws a hand, you knock it down.
Right, but what about but you have to work as a team, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's like a band, and if you think about it.
But bands are much more like they flow a lot more, and although everyone has I know this is probably not the answer you're looking for.
No, I'm looking for your honest opinion.
It's different. And I mean, maybe because I'm closer with my band than I am with the football players, like the other football players. Like, they're great people. I just spend so much more time with my band that, and it's just a different vibe, if that makes sense.
But I wonder if there are some skill sets that are similar. Like, you've got common goals.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't work together, the team falls apart, the band would fall apart.
Communication.
That's
the one link, because, like, when we both scenarios, the band and football, both of the scenarios, you have a job. But, like, in football, you're just doing your job. You're not, like, you're working with other people, but you're not really thinking it unless you're doing, like, some sort of D-line stunt. But on defense specifically, communication is very important.
Sure.
And the football coaches talk about this all the time. Like, when we communicate, we play really well. Like, everyone's shouting. The offense is getting scared. Everyone knows where they're going. But when we don't talk, we kind of run into problems. Like, people don't know our coverages or what kind of like blitzes we're doing, and there's much more low energy. So communication that's I think the strongest
Yeah.
link.
Well, and I also wonder if the term is different, but the idea of what you would call practice, but a musician would call rehearsal.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Although I feel like practicing is like rehearsing is a little bit more fun.
Well, sure, because there's other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, in terms of a general concept. But we should probably not today necessarily, but that might be an interesting area to explore because I have a funny feeling there's more linking there.
Yeah, I'll think
than,
about
than
it.
Not, than
And
not.
and Coach Brown will create something. Like he'll sit down here, you'll ask him that question, and he'll be like,
Oh yeah, no, I
and
can't
he'll
wait
just
to
like,
get him in here.
yeah,
No,
he'll-
I am. He's awesome. He's
Yeah,
just
he
a
is.
good guy. I mean,
He is.
forget about the fact that the team is doing well and all that other stuff. He's just a really good guy.
Yeah.
I just really am a fan of him as a person.
not sponsored.
Let's move on down the line. You're here, first year.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. What's your Look, you got I don't know what 500 different electives at this school. You
Yeah.
picked this one, and I'm grateful. Why this one and not I don't know basket weaving or something?
I picked this one because I like wanted to do music, but with last year I was in orchestra, of course, doing cello. So
I love the cello. And
I,
I miss
fun.
the orchestras here, but that's a separate conversation.
Wait, what
I
happened
can
to
play
orchestra?
privately for you.
No,
but-
just I used to conduct.
Oh,
them.
oh.
CMAS.
It's like, what happened
that
to
was a
them?
selfish comment. I'm sorry. No. I didn't mean it like they're gone. I meant I personally miss.
Yeah.
There is something about strings. I don't know what it is. No offense to any other instrument. There is something about strings for me. But anyway,
I mean,
please.
guitars have strings.
But no, it's just like with that, you don't have as much freedom as in here. Cause like with that, one of the things I just hated about it was that they gave you like 3 songs that you had to play, but they weren't like your choice. Like I wanted to like make my own songs and like play like my own songs and stuff,
Okay.
not like have stuff chosen for me. For that matter.
Okay, so on one level, I totally get it because the truth is I created this program very much for the reason you're talking about, this idea of creative control for students.
Yeah.
But I also think it's worth looking into because you're going to be around. I think there's an argument to be made of seeing how we can link them together
Yeah.
because I think that this is just me.
Yeah.
I think the more things you do musically, regardless of what they specifically are, the better it is for everything you do musically, as opposed to just being kind of like it has to be this one thing. Just out of curiosity, and again, it's just I'm obsessed with creative process. How long have you played the cello?
I just started like last year, so I mean,
okay.
last summer I got private lessons from the teacher.
Okay.
So I got a pretty good start on it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've just been playing that past year.
Oh wow.
But
Any
it's,
other?
like,
I'm sorry.
Because no, like in the orchestra, they teach you very, very well.
Right.
But obviously, like you don't get to play like what you want to.
Yeah, it's just not scratching the itch.
Yeah.
I get it. But we should look at both. I also think, to be fair, Mr. Fisher's approach you might really enjoy, which is to say, in addition to CMAS, not instead
Yeah.
of. But that's a separate conversation.
Yeah.
What? Any other instruments? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, I don't really know them anymore. I didn't really play them too much, but I played clarinet,
Oh, cool.
trumpet, and trombone for a tiny bit of 5th grade.
Okay.
I just couldn't figure out. I couldn't fit in the band that much. I just didn't. For some reason, I don't remember anymore. But I just did not like it
Like
that
it
much.
didn't click.
Yeah, it wasn't like.
And you know what? That's okay because I think at the I mean, to me, granted, I'm old. Who cares what I think? But the truth is, I think what matters is that you're doing something musical. I don't know that it matters what that musical thing is. I mean, it does because like you identify with it, you feel good about it. That's the thing you want to pursue. That's extremely important. But in terms of like comparing like this musical experience versus that musical experience, I think it's really that you have a musical experience. I don't know that it matters. You know, you like this, and it's like going to a restaurant and being like, "Well, sorry, but we're all having fish," and you're like, "Yeah, that's I don't. Not only do I not like it, I'm actually allergic to it. This will end badly." So then it's like, "Well, then you don't eat." No, you go eat something else.
Yeah.
Go to a different
Right? It's
restaurant.
and you wouldn't even. Sorry, I'm ranting. I just, it's so odd to me that we get conditioned that that's how we're supposed to approach music, especially in schools, and it drives me crazy. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I've got more students that are coming in this year that have the attitude like you do, and I think you have a similar one. But it's just I want to make music. Just
Yeah.
I want to make music. That being said, why are you here, young lady? I'm just kidding.
Actually, I'm here because when I grew up,
Just in case we screw up the panel thing at the beginning, make sure we've said our names. So Cal and Carter,
Kalena.
Kalena. Great. Everybody
I
starts
have
with
to
the same
spell
syllable.
my
I'm
name?
so bad with names.
Why did I have to
Except
spell
mine's
my
a
name?
K,
out?
honestly.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But it's still those K sounds. But anyway, no, Kalena. So where's your what's the impetus to be here?
Well, when I grew up and I developed a really strong sense for like doing art and stuff because
Visual art?
yeah, like visual art.
Okay.
But then up until a certain point, I started getting kind of, I don't know, not necessarily tired of it, but I just wanted to try something else. So like a year or two ago, and I just started listening to like tons of music because I felt like it was my therapy. Like it made me feel good,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's really cool.
it also depended on what type of music I was listening to. Like at one certain point, I listened to like a lot of pop and reggae and stuff like that, and then at this point, I'm listening to a lot of angry music. for some
Okay,
reason.
wait. Hold on. No, this is important. I've asked other people this before. Angry music as in it makes you angry, or angry music as in it expresses the anger you feel?
Like like kind of makes me feel like I'm releasing the stuff. Yeah.
See, to me, and I know this is nitpicky, I don't think that's angry music. I think that's actually therapeutic music.
Yeah.
I think angry music is when you listen to it and get angry. I think
like-
what you're describing is actually really healthy. I think it's actually not angry. I think that's how you,
Yeah.
you know.
How I cope with things.
Yeah. And
And
you're
then-
not alone in that.
Yeah, and then so I started going to. It was kind of random, really, because when they gave us the course expectation sheet in the middle of 8th grade or whatever, and they were like, "Okay, this is the high school you guys are going to. Pick your classes."
This is
and
in
it happened.
Ingleside? Or-
No, it happened at Echo Canyon. Me and
Oh,
Carter
okay.
went to Echo Canyon
I didn't realize
Elementary.
that.
Oh, you guys know each other.
We need to do
Yeah.
better about getting over to Echo
okay,
Canyon.
that makes
we were
sense.
not very good about this last year. I apologize for
Yeah.
that. So that actually makes me even more
I
grateful
wasn't
you're
even
here.
there the full year. I came there halfway point.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair
So,
enough.
yeah. So, what was I saying?
You were talking about they gave you the class.
Oh yeah,
descriptions
they
and
give
things.
us they give us the course not the course expectations, but like just fill out the course sheet.
Yeah.
So I picked all my primary classes and I was like, okay, what electives am I going to have? So I chose this mostly because the video was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Good. No, that's why we
Yeah.
made it. We got to make
I was
a
a
new
star
one for
in that
next year,
video.
so
Yeah.
Start thinking.
So I like the video, and I also, like I said, I wanted to try something new instead of just doing the same thing repetitive over and over again. And I think overall, this is, even in this first week, this has become like probably my most favorite
Oh,
class.
well, that makes me feel really
and it's
good.
so sad that it's at the end of the day too.
But that gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, your 7th hour class, and I don't want to jinx it, 7th hour is always tough because everybody's just exhausted, and
My
then
tech
everybody
class
gets
is like
everybody
that.
gets grumpy.
Yeah.
Your class is not grumpy.
Yeah.
I think your class is exhausted a little bit, not
but not like.
not like in a hostile sort of way.
But not like Fairchild.
And
I do
also-
think. Well, no.
And this class is
Fairchild's
also
awesome.
like this class is
Yeah, I
also
said that in
like the
sarcastic
only
way.
class that I've really made friends in too, because like people that can relate to me and that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's fair. I'm glad you're making friends in this class, but we need to stretch that out.
Yeah, I
But
know.
but at least there's somewhere. I will say this though, for especially, I mean, Cal already knows this; he's been around. But especially for you guys, it's interesting the way you guys describe what your interests are and the way you've come about them. There's this theory, I believe it personally, for what it's worth, that essentially creative people, you do get bored easily. Like that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
That you need the challenge, you need the
Something to think about, something to.
yeah. If it all like
imagine.
if it all like just works out every single time, you're
It's not gonna work.
well, or it's just gonna be like, yeah, great, it worked. Okay, now what? Like it doesn't challenge you.
If there isn't something like different or something that
Yeah.
like, what's that word? It like keeps going, like
like iterations or
irrational.
evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Evolving,
Yeah.
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 Evolving.
Yeah.
Irrational.
I
Something that doesn't stop. Like.
yeah.
Not repetitive, because that'd be boring. Because if you know how to do it, why keep doing it forever? You can try something else.
you know, you're gonna do just fine in here, because that's actually really another one of those founding promises. Is we, you know, you've already heard me say it 100 times in class.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know, but that's a good thing. That's the stuff that excites me. I like that. Like, I was saying this to, I think actually you were by the desk outside. I was saying how like I'm listening to your class and you guys are all working on the riff to Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
And I'm listening around the room and I'm like, there's literally like 40 different interpretations right now of the same piece of music. That's actually, to me, that's awesome. That's what it should be. Yeah, eventually we're going to need to decide, like, when you, like, okay, we're going to go perform this. Okay, we have to kind of make a decision on which one we're going to go with. But the idea you've got all those options, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Or, like, hearing little things like little discoveries about, wait a minute, if I use the pick instead of my finger, if we do it this way, we do that. That's where it's all at. Okay, so that little alarm there is how we keep ourselves from letting Mr. Maxwell just ramble forever. That timer is for me, not you, and I apologize.
Okay.
It's a good
But
addition.
I am, and Cal, you've asked this question, or you answered this question last time. So if you want to give a slightly different answer or something, you are welcome to. But I'm gonna give you guys a word, and I'm asking everybody this at the end of every segment because I'm genuinely curious. What is I'm gonna ask you the word and just what it means to you or what you think about when you think of it. So the word I'm gonna ask, and we can just we'll start with you, Cal. And we'll go around this way. But the word is create, or to be creative. Like, what's the 30-second version of what that means to you?
Well, I think last time I said to just like sit down and make something.
Sure.
This time I think I'm gonna say I've had a little bit more time to like sleep on it.
Okay.
And I would say just like when you have something, you can just get it out.
Okay.
Like whether it's an emotion, because you know, like something you're feeling something and you're like, I'm gonna get this out with music, or you're like, I have energy and I gotta put this energy somewhere. So you write a piece of music and you're like, oh yeah.
So you're talking about like catharsis, basically. This idea of like purging your system in a way.
Well, not exactly purging, but like it's like I have this energy and I'm not gonna let it go to waste.
Okay.
So I want to make something with it.
Okay. Okay.
Or I have this energy to make something and I'm not gonna waste the energy.
Gotcha.
Because I want to make something. I know
Okay.
I want to. And I mean, sometimes that's good, and sometimes, you know, I'm in the middle of homework, and I'm like, I want to go write a song, and I'm like, no,
Yeah, I feel
don't
that.
write the song later.
I have a different type of homework, but I have had plenty of. I'll be working like in my studio on like somebody else's session, and I will honestly sometimes I'll be like, I really, and then I'll be like, well, there's that check. Okay, all right, we'll make this work. I'm gonna do it the same way. And to be honest, it's just like you looking at your grades and going, well, I need that grade. I got to do this. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
More like it's more
weird how
like
it's
this.
the same process.
More like I'll just do it anyway, even
Yeah.
if I don't, even if it doesn't hurt my grade.
That's okay. That's okay. Well,
Perfectionist.
what's create or to be creative? What's that mean to you?
I think it just means to like do like your own thing. Cause like whenever like creative, I think would be in like using like what you're thinking of and not like anything else. So just like kind of like what you think like with other people, like how like what like is in your imagination, like in how like you think about stuff. Cause like that's what I would think would be creative.
That's
is-
really interesting. So like an
Yeah.
individualized approach to it.
Or like you can like ask other people or like have other people help you with it, but I think it's just like what your imagination thinks of
Okay.
is what it means to be creative.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Last but not least, what do you think? Create or creative or however you want to phrase it?
Personally, I think to be creative is to just like, you know, like you have something and you want to make something more out of it. Like, say you have like a canvas and you have the canvas and it's just blank and you want to do something with it. You want to add some like flair to it and colors and stuff like that. I think that's what it means to be creative, just to kind of like do your own thing with what you want to do, but you can't just do whatever. You have to have some ideas to it.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah. I think, yeah, I've been kind of blown away by the new folks and you guys in particular. Like, no, because look, the fact of the matter is that people come in here and it's a weird program. It's a weird class. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I'm not, not
Weird
always
in
paying
a fun
attention.
way.
Yeah, but it's different. It is. I
Yeah.
mean, you both described some prior experiences, and how this place was like, oh, I can do that stuff, and it's cool to do it here. That alone is people are frequently like, wait a minute, that really we can't? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the point. I'm just glad you guys are here. I really am, and I appreciate you guys being in this segment and on the show. And we're gonna keep doing these as we go through the year and hopefully years. That's if we're lucky enough to make that happen. But you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing this with me. So I thought here's what we do. We've been talking because we are at the beginning of the school year. Basically, we're in the early part of the second week, but everybody's just kind of new. I was wondering maybe we could just Joe. I know you did this last time, so I'm going to hold off for you. But you two guys, this is your first time on one of these segments. I'm hoping you do lots of them. Could we maybe just have you just tell us a little bit, maybe just give us your name. First name is fine, and just I don't know where are you coming from. Why are you're in the room, which is great. What's maybe a musical goal or something like that. If you've got one, I'm just curious. With the beginning of the year, it's a new experience. What do you think?
Are you gonna start?
No, you can start.
Okay. I'm Nicholas, and I am here. I don't really have any one particular musical goal, except maybe to just improve at guitar.
Okay.
And I'm here taking CMAS because I love music, and I'm here doing this podcast because I want something to do and I want to contribute to the program in any way I can.
I love that. I have a more nitpicky question, not right or wrong. I'm genuinely curious. If we're still getting to know each other a little bit. We're in, like I said, the first weeks. I'm very, very fascinated by people's creative process. So, a couple of questions I have. Just how long have you been playing guitar?
A little under a year.
A little under a year. That's cool. No, nothing wrong with that. Do you play other instruments, or did you play other instruments before that? Like, why the guitar, I guess, is really where I'm headed with this.
I don't really have any particular reason I started playing guitar. I just thought, that seems kind of cool, and I picked it up, and I started experimenting.
Are there artists or bands that you've heard that you're like, I want to do that?
I think the main one would probably be the band Death.
Okay.
The death metal band.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. What about, and again, I'm just, why that band and not, I don't know, Miley Cyrus or whoever? That's not a good. She's not really a guitar player. That probably was. You get my point.
I get your point. The reason I am so inspired by Death is because the main guitarist Chuck Schuldiner is a very, very innovative guitarist, very creative. All of his riffs and solos fit perfectly with the songs around them. He knew how to not just play guitar to show off his skill, but also to fit along with the rest.
There's a documentary, a band called Death. It's really. Have you seen it?
I have not.
It's fascinating because with a name like that, and it's kind of, I think, why they did it. It's kind of brilliant. It immediately conjures up assumptions.
Yeah.
About. Not just about the music, but about the personalities of the people in the band.
Yeah.
And they're mostly not even remotely close to the truth. And I find that very interesting when artists are kind of like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set everybody up to think it's this thing. But actually, they're very... another band that actually does that? Guar, of all bands. Like, you say Guar, I mean, you're laughing because you've seen what they are. You've heard of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. They're hysterically funny. And we can't really talk in specifics about what they do on stage or in their music at all because most of it's horribly inappropriate for a public high school. But it is actually very interesting if you look at the history of that band. Like, there are people, a lot of the guys in the band, like, one of them's got a PhD in, sociology and stuff. These are not throwaway degrees or people who are just crazy punk rockers that are out of their minds. These are very smart, very articulate, I would argue very highly creative people. The band you mentioned, kind of the same thing. Which I think that's really cool. Do you, and it's cool if you don't, I'm just wondering, do you have any interest in other instruments at all?
I have recently in CMAS, when I have free time, been using the bass, and I find that also pretty fun.
Cool. The more you play, the better.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm really glad you're here this year. I really, really am. Let's move on for a second. We'll come back.
My name's Cameron, and I'm in the program because I like music, and I wanted to learn instruments like guitar, piano, drums,
Have you played anything beforehand? It's okay if not. Again, I'm just curious.
A little bit of guitar,
Okay.
not that much. No.
Are you and again, there's no right or wrong here. I'm just fascinated when there's new folks coming in because I just can't help myself. I love finding out about why people are wanting to be creative. Is there like a favorite instrument? It doesn't even have to be one of the main ones we use here. It could be the, Chinese guzheng harp, which I actually had a student play that a number of years ago. Her parents bought her one. It's the coolest thing. Little mallet hammer things and it was anyway.
Guitar. I like
Yeah?
the guitar. I like how it looks, plays, what people can do with it.
Yeah. There is something about certain instruments. They just kind of make sense.
Yeah.
And as an individual, if that's the one you kind of like, that one. That's cool. Do you have a favorite band or guitar player or anything?
My favorite band is Oasis. Oasis. The ones who made
okay.
Wonderwall.
Now, I promise you, this is not for a grade. I just have to know. Are you, let's say, Team Noel or Team Liam?
No.
That was the correct answer. Sorry, no, I actually am a fan of both of theirs, but there is something about Noel, the writer, and the High Flying Birds.
Yeah. I've listened to some of their songs, not all of them.
He's just exceptionally good at what he does as a songwriter. I think he's a very underrated guitar player. I think he's a very underrated singer, personally. But that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you play any of their songs yet?
I tried Wonderwall. 'Cause it's like
I think everybody's
it's
tried
the
Wonderwall.
easiest song.
Yeah? How'd it go?
Not good.
We can fix that. We can work on that. That's okay. Hey, Joe, it occurs to me you've done a couple of segments already, but I never asked you. Like, do you have a favorite band or musician or anybody? Like that?
Yeah, right now I'm actually really into this small up and coming from TikTok. His name is Nathan Apollo.
Okay.
So he started on TikTok and started making music. It can be raunchy, but it's also like the cringy love kind of. It's horrible sometimes.
That's okay.
He's actually touring recently, and I have tickets for his tour with another one of my favorite artists, Boy With Uke.
Okay.
Same kind of story, just got a lot more popular and is now
Sure.
huge in the alternative, sad emo boy kind of
That's
music
okay.
genre.
That's okay. If it speaks to you, it speaks to you. Is there anything about it in particular that you really like?
Oddly enough, it's the ukulele. I like the nylon strings. I like it gives me a feel like island vibe.
Yeah, of course.
really
Of course.
home.
That's kind of what that ukulele sound is kind of. I mean, it's kind of a stereotype. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, but it's a
Yeah.
stereotype for a reason. We talk about things like that a lot in class. And I know you all three are new to the program, although, Joe, we've known each other for years because you've been at Arcadia for a while. But there's a reason things are a cliche, and sometimes that's a good thing. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. I'm just checking on our recording time here. Let me ask you guys this. Are you, is there anything, and it's totally cool if the answer is yes, I have a laundry list, and it's totally cool if the answer is like, nah, I'm good. Is there anything coming into this year that you're maybe, I don't want to say afraid, but if you are, that's cool. But maybe anxious about or unsure of? I mean, high school's a lot. I know maybe I'm not supposed to say that since I work here, but is there anything about CMAS maybe even? Is there anything musically that you're kind of like, I want to do this thing, but I'm not quite sure because of this other factor. I mean, I don't know what it might be. It could be any reason at all. I'm just curious if there's anything that fits that category.
Not really. For me, it's mostly just I want to do this thing. I'm not worried about like, oh, well, there are these things I would have to do as well. I think that I will find a way to get past any possible obstacles. And this doesn't apply to just this program. It applies to school as a whole. I'm mostly just excited.
Are you sure you're new? That's a really mature answer. That's great. No, that's great. That's actually awesome. There was an earlier segment, somebody in a totally unrelated question said something was like, you cannot possibly be a freshman. That's great. That's good. Beat that answer. No, I was kidding. No, but do you have any thoughts about anything about that?
No, I think, in my personal opinion, if you want something, if you think you can, if you know you can work as hard as you can, I think you put your mind to it and you can do it. Overcome the obstacles and
God, I love this. You guys are going to be so amazing. I can just tell. Okay, let me ask you guys this then. And this is related, but sort of tangentially. Have you ever thought about, like, when you think about, like, okay, I want to play this instrument, do you think about it in the context of playing in a band? Do you just think about playing the instrument? Do you have, like, a sense of, like, I guess what I'm asking is, in your mind, forget about I need to learn this or learn that or whatever, but just the bigger picture of it, like, how do you see yourself with the instrument performing, recording? Like, in what context does that play a part?
I definitely say that I do see myself eventually performing and recording with a band of at least a
Cool.
couple of other people. Because, as a guitarist, I think at the very least, it's important to have a drummer backing you up because you've got to keep the tempo, and it's hard to do that on your own.
True. Momentum's important in music. It can be done as a soloist. There's plenty of examples, but I agree with you. The drums add a kind of. I mean, I am a drummer too, so I'm biased, but they do add a certain vibe, maybe.
That too.
Yeah, that's fair. What about?
I think I want to play in a band
Good.
because I want to see what other people's creative processes are, and maybe you can be a drummer, but hey, I have this song. Would you want to play it? And yeah, I just want everyone to work together.
I am
and think
really
it's,
liking this attitude. That's exactly it. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that person that sits down and starts laying down that groove and you're playing your riff and then you're like, oh, I hadn't even thought of it like that. This is cool. That's awesome. What about you, Joe? We were talking, what was it, last week? And you were saying how, like, you hadn't considered instruments, but then once you were in the room on a regular basis, you're like, I'd actually like to maybe...
Yeah.
So has that ever furthered into this idea of a band versus...
Well, actually, oddly enough, I have both an acoustic and an electric guitar at home.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I got into trying to take lessons to learn the acoustic, and then found out the electric's easier to not have to strain my fingers so much, and just learning all the different chords.
It can be. That's fair.
The only problem is I couldn't continue with lessons because I can't afford like
Wow.
$18 a week.
I understand.
So I got into CMAS originally thinking I want to be in a band, not to like be a musician, but be a producer for the band.
Sure.
Because I love music and I love
Okay.
creating music, but I can't myself. So I want to help people create their music, I guess.
Okay, first of all, that's awesome. I'm going to refute one part. I don't think the I can't part of this is accurate. My gut says that's just not right. It might simply be you haven't had the opportunity to figure out your path or your steps on that path. I don't think you've already demonstrated some pretty keen instincts on some stuff, whether you realize it or not in class. I have. So I don't think it's you can't do it. I think it's more you haven't been presented with the option of doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
get
that's
it.
maybe something we should look at. So I don't know that alarm always goes off somewhere in our recording to keep us on track time-wise. I'm going to ask you guys the same question. Joe, you can give the same answer you gave last time for this. It's going to be the same question, but or if it's evolved. But I'm going to ask you guys real quick. Give me like the 30-second, your sense of. I'm going to give you a word, and I'm just curious what you think of when you think of this word. So the word is to. It's really a phrase, sorry, but to create or to be creative. What does that mean to you today? What does that mean, Joe? We can start with you.
All right.
What does that imply? I guess.
I definitely have the black sheep of the answers.
Okay, that's all right.
It's fearful for me. It's still something that's probably going to be fearful, but almost relieving because it's almost like a fear that you can't create something unique. At least that's how my mindset always worked around it.
Okay.
I always think there's so many different songs out there. I'm worried to copy another or accidentally create the same thing. But creativity shouldn't be fearful because when you get past that fear, you figure out you can create something that's entirely your own, even if it sounds similar.
That's a fair point, and I think this relates to the other thing we were just talking about. I think that fearfulness, I understand. I'm not disputing or criticizing. I think that's more the result of just not having had a chance to pursue it yet. I wonder if 6 months from now you'll feel the same way. Might be interesting. We'll
I'll be here.
You know what I was gonna say? We'll talk about it in 6 months, if not sooner. Create or being creative. What do you think?
To me, being creative is not something that I can just do on the fly. It's something I have to be in a particular mood to do. Like I can't just sit down and think I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna make something. I have to be in that particular mood. Or sometimes I do just create when I'm sitting down, not in that mood by accident.
Right.
But if I have the intention to create something, that's not something I have control over.
Fascinating. Let me ask you a follow-up real quick. Do you notice certain times of day you're more likely to feel like you can be creative than others?
Not particularly.
Okay. No, that's good. For me, I find either really early in the morning or really late at night is where the best stuff for me happens. It's not that nothing gets done in the middle of the day, but I feel like it's really slow. Be interesting. That might be worth tracking.
Maybe.
Just to see kind of, not for right or wrong, just the more you know, the more you know. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Cool. Last but not least, create or creative? What do you think?
For me, I'm creative like really early in the morning or really late at night.
I feel you.
And it's always when I'm like, I don't want to make a song or I don't want to do this. And then I think about it and it's like, this is really good, but I'm about to go to sleep or I'm about to go to class. And then I totally forget about it.
Yeah. That, you are in pretty good company there, not just because I have a similar thing. I'm the anomaly for the good company part. But that's something actually we'll talk about is this idea of, there's process like I like to do this, and I like to do this, and I like to do this. And all that's important. But there's also the process of I keep getting ideas right before I'm walking into first hour, and I can't not go to first hour because that sets off a whole other ripple effect and chain of events that I do not want to have to deal with. How do I get the ideas down? Or as they're coming to you when you're sleepy, which is not uncommon. There's a ton of research that's been done about how a lot of people have these creative avalanches just on that point between like waking and sleep. There's this thing that can happen to some people. Maybe that's what you're experiencing. And that might be part of the exploration for you over time, is figuring out how do I make those things more in my own. So cool. We're into week 2, right? Are we into week 2?
Yeah.
I can't tell. Like the
Now.
whole thing is like this weird. Am I the only one? It's like not just like
Time
a giant.
is
Yeah.
relative.
Yeah, it still feels like we're in summer.
Existential.
opinion.
It does not feel like we are in. I am sorry. I'm going to draw a line there. No, we are not still in summer. I'm sorry.
Still feels like it.
Fair.
It's so
I'm
hot.
very sorry we're not in summer. No, it's hot enough to be. We're like
Yeah.
it's gross.
It's like 108
It's
today.
gross.
Better than 118. How
Yeah.
sad is that? That's literally where my brain's gone. I'm like, well, at least we're not actually boiling. But you know what, Phoenix? What are you gonna do? Okay, I thought kind of as a continuation of what we've been doing with some of these other segments, maybe just real quick. I hate to say, why are you here? but maybe why don't we start there? And I know some of your stories a little bit, but like Lily, you're new.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here, but I want to know kind of why you're here. You're kind of, you're crossing over some barriers. I know you're coming from a unique, but I think pretty cool thing. I thought maybe we could start there, just kind of. What's what with why we're where we are, and maybe we try that. I don't know who wants to go first, but you want to?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
start
no.
over there with you all?
All right. So, yeah, my name is Owen. Last year, I was in the piano class of CMAS, right? And now I decided to take CMAS 1. And the reason for that is because I really enjoyed the format of the piano class, right? There's a lot of creative liberty and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't enjoy the piano side of it. I think that I got a lot of music theory experience out of it and experience with writing songs. And that was probably my favorite part about it was, like I said, the creative liberty and just getting the experience. But I was like, hey, I think I want to translate over to the other class, right? So I can, find a field that I'm a little more.
I want to. Okay, first of all, I am in no way upset by what you just said. A lot of teachers are like, why? This is why. I'm actually just glad you're back. I don't have issue with the instrument. I was, funny enough, before you even said that though, I've noticed you are like laser focused on that guitar. Like you kind of came in like that one, and you were like, is that from like a previous interest, or is that from last? Like, where's that come from?
So, I mean, I've just kind of tried out guitar before, like at my house by myself, just kind of fidgeted around with it, tried to play some songs that I really like. And I was never really able to fully grasp it and get the hang of it. But I think I've sort of had like an aha moment.
It's been lingering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And still, I don't really think that I would try to have the guitar be my number one instrument. But I mean, it's one of the most prevalent instruments in, music. Sure. You got rock and all those genres that incorporate guitar.
Just out of curiosity, do you feel like the guitar, like I know we're only in 2 weeks and we're like literally the beginning of the second one and everything else, but like, I mean, do you feel like the piano concepts are translating? Let me rephrase that. I don't know if translating is the right word, but like, do you feel like what you did last year in the piano class is you're picking up a guitar this year? Do you feel like there's a connection there? It's okay if the answer is no. I'm just genuinely curious.
Well, to a certain extent, I have to say yes, just because at the end of the day, it's still music and it's still like the same base concept. But, I guess it's just a little different, since it's a different instrument, right? So you have, different techniques with playing it. And, how do I put this? The scale is a little different, right? Like with piano, you'd be able to, go up, like a C scale, right?
Patterns
the notes
it
was very consistent.
Sure.
But guitar's a little different, like the finger placement and stuff. So that's taking a little bit of getting used to. But it's,
I genuinely like how you're using the word different as you answer that. It wasn't better or worse. It was just different, which I know seems maybe nitpicky, but it's really critical, I think, to the success of what's possible is that idea of understanding different versus better or worse. So that's really cool. Yeah. Let's move on just for the sake of time. We're going to come back to this stuff.
Okay.
I'm curious.
So I'm Lily. The reason I joined CMAS is actually pretty funny. It was a last resort kind of option.
What?
I went to Ingleside and I was very present in the choir program.
Good.
And I wanted to be in choir at Arcadia too, but that's not an option. So I joined CMAS.
18 segments.
Yeah,
we'll do a whole thing why that is.
It is a very complicated reason why.
Actually, you know what? It's actually not complicated. It's absurd and ridiculous. It's more of an is what it is. But I will say this: if you want to sing, that's all that matters. And the beauty of CMAS truly is we can create any musical scenario that you want. That's genuinely the whole foundational premise of the program. So if that really matters to you, separately from right now, we need to talk about that.
That's a maybe. That's a
okay. That sounds like there's more to that than just the idea of I want to sing. But keep going.
But so then I joined CMS 1. I'm a freshman, and then I want to learn how to play the guitar and possibly piano.
Are you already writing stuff? Is there any motivation of I've got stuff in my head. I want to share it.
It's a kind of so. I will write down lyrics. I don't know how to compose music, but
do you hear melodies when you write?
Yeah,
okay,
I do. And then most of the time, because I don't know how to produce it, that's why I also joined CMAS was to learn how to get it out there.
Perfect.
I just used it in English writing assignments, so that's
gotcha. No,
I wanted to not use it in an essay for once in my life.
That's okay. I guess I get very I know we're only 2 weeks in, but I doubt it'll be a surprise to you that I'm really fascinated by the process and the motivation behind all this stuff. I'm not. Full disclosure. Part of the issue, and I'm not saying this is good. I'm just saying this kind of is. I don't really worry about the format the thing takes. I'm just interested in the idea of what sort of spurs you on creatively. I think it's very interesting when people like you come in and you've got this backlog. It sounds like I'm guessing there's journals or on your phone or somewhere.
There are 5,000 notes in my notes app. There's a whole bunch.
And you're like, I don't know what to do with these kind of things.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So you said you hear melodies when you write the words?
Mhm.
Are they consistent? Like, I guess this is not a deal-breaking question. I'm genuinely just curious. Like, okay, so you're writing out some lyrics. Like, let's say
Yeah.
you go home today and you're just sitting at home, and all of a sudden you get an idea, and it's from scratch, and you start writing it out. Does it start to sound in your head like that's a verse and that's a hook and that's a, or do you just kind of hear stuff and just let it roll where it takes you?
I would like to say, ooh, that came out country. I would like to say that I like to say it's kind of like both, I guess.
Okay.
Is like the best way I can explain it.
There-
I'm not really sure. to
There's
be
no right or
honest.
wrong. I find usually that a lot of people will say something like, "Well, I have these ideas, I don't know what to do with them," and not that that's not true, but it's a lot of times it's more like somewhere along the line somebody said, "Oh, you're not supposed to do music that way." Not that you don't actually know what you're. Do you know what I mean? It's like it gets
Yeah.
conflated. I have a whole. I will spare you the whole rant. I suspect you've got songs. I suspect, based on what you're saying right now, that there is a whole bunch of stuff there that actually is just this far away from being ready to play live on a show or something. It's more likely that you've just been in circumstances that have not allowed you
Yeah.
to just take that one last step. Not that it's not there. Because if you're already hearing it in your head in some capacity melodically, I'm guessing you probably also hear maybe a backing track of sorts too.
Yeah.
See, yeah, it's already there. We just got to translate it. So that's actually really cool. And we should talk about the singing thing, because I also think that there's no reason why more than one thing can't be true or more than one thing can't be happening at the same time. I actually think creatively, this is a whole separate thing that we'll talk about in class, and we should do some probably segments on it. I actually think creatively you're better when you're doing more than one thing at a time. I think if you're only
because then
doing
you're not as close-minded.
exactly. And also when you get stuck, where do you go if you've only got one? Where it's like, okay, I'm going to turn this one off. Like people are always like, you wrote 100 songs for that one album. Yeah, because I needed to write 100 of them, so I'd have 10 that were really good. And
Yeah.
it's, same premise. Probably why you have 5,000 notes. I bet if you wanted to, some of them are better than others.
Yeah. Some of them are like years old though, so they're not very
That's
good.
no. Wait a minute. That's not the same thing.
I started him on a rant.
It's
didn't
what
I?
speaks to you. No. It's what speaks to you. You know, it'd be fun. You don't have to do this. You should go back and look at the earliest ones you've got, and maybe the whole thing isn't, but maybe there's like a phrase, and then
To be honest, I think those year-old ones are just like pitch perfect style mashups.
Okay,
Like
but they might be repurposed. We don't know what we don't know. I guess my bigger point is don't throw anything away ever.
Okay.
I'm a hoarder of ideas and, well, everything else too, but don't throw stuff away. I am genuinely glad you are here. I'm so glad you're here, Lou. I truly am. I'm excited about this. All right, what are you doing here? No, where are we at? What's going on?
Hi, I'm Cole. I'm not actually in CMAS this year, but
Killing me, Cole.
I know. I tried, but
I know.
I was out of my control.
I got it.
But I'm in band this year doing drumline.
And killing it.
Thank you.
I mean, really, you guys are. It's really cool seeing what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the furthest we've been in a very long time, like at this early of a stage.
That's awesome. That's just you guys are great.
And I mean, on it, like we get to do a bunch of cool stuff with CMAS this year, and I think it was like genuinely awesome. Like just like later today, doing the meet and greet or like open house or something.
Yeah, let's call it that.
Yeah.
I'm both a parent of a student here and a faculty member. And full disclosure, I don't think I read either email. I just know I got to be here. And yeah, I probably should edit that out. You didn't hear that. Sorry, Dr. Dansky. No, I agree with you, though. I think it's cool that these things are happening kind of organically. And I think fairly stress-free.
I'd say for the most part. I mean, like it's still like it's a little stressful because it's a little new
Sure.
for some people. But I honestly like, I think it's all good.
I do. I think it seems like everybody's enjoying it. Like,
Yeah,
I got the sense that the biggest issue with the combined thing was more we don't have enough material learned yet together. Like that's almost more like now. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
everybody's kind of,
nah.
I kind of want to do more of this with these other people, but we haven't had the
Yeah.
time to, and that's going to take us a little bit. But I think we'll get there.
yeah. I mean, we've got Smells Like Teen Spirit and what is it called? Seven Nation Army.
Yes.
There we go. And right now, those are sounding good. At least from the band perspective.
They're
that I've
sounding
heard.
great from ours too. It's just fun seeing everybody play together. Like, and I
Yeah.
keep maintaining this. We've had no real rehearsal. We did 30 minutes
Yeah.
on Friday, the last day of your 2 weeks of band camp, when you guys were totally wiped. I mean, it was, and then we played on Monday for the freshman assembly. That was totally made up on the spot for all intents and purposes. Although Mr. Fisher did his best to keep us organized. Yeah, I think things like that are important. I think it's cool that just things happen musically.
Yeah.
Real quick, we're out of time on this segment, but we're going to keep doing more of these. And again, I cannot tell you how happy I am that you guys are all part of things here at Arcadia and in CMAS and exploring things. And I think this is going to be an awesome year. I am curious. I asked this question of everybody who goes through what we do here with these segments. I'm going to say a word, and I'm curious what it means to you, the 30-second version of it.
Okay.
So what's it mean to you? We'll just start with you, Cole, I guess. What's it mean to you when I say the word create or being creative? What's that mean to you?
To be creative or to create is like what that means is, at least to me, is like creating something that is unique in its own way and that you're proud of it. Like you, even if you don't think it's like your best work or like something after it comes better, like that, if you should still be proud of it because it's like it's your own thing and you created that.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Lily, what do you got? What's your
Um,
definition
I
of
agree. I think it's also like it's a unique part of you. I also think that it's just a part of you wholly, and that you take something that was in your brain and that is you, and then you share it with the world so they get a perspective or like an idea of what's in your brain.
You sure you're a freshman and this is only your first year?
Choir taught me a lot of things.
Okay. That's really an interesting response to that creative thing. That's good. Very good. Owen, what do you got, buddy?
So I'm going to say that to create means to take something that is sort of built up inside you and combine it with sort of outside influence, right? And sort of, it's like building a building, right, with materials that are influenced by other people, right? So yeah, like just finding inspiration and using whatever influence you have to make something that's unique, but also incorporates elements from outside, forces.
That's very cool. I like this. This is excellent. I really appreciate you guys being here on the segment, and all the fun stuff we're going to be doing, and all the great music you guys are making. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Recording. All right, this is Don't Cry. So proud of you, and the things you do in this town. I know it is hard to grow. Please don't safe intact. Please don't cry. I won't lie. Please don't cry. I won't lie. One day I'll know just how bright you glow. When your star is gone, I'll be sad and long. I won't cry. Please don't lie. I won't cry. I won't lie. Thank you. Thank you very much.